She was 19, furious, and heartbroken. So she walked into a studio and recorded one of the best-selling albums in history. Alanis Morissette had already lived several lifetimes. Child star in Canada, 2 pop albums that went nowhere, constant pressure to smile, fit the mold, be agreeable. Then someone shattered her heart. Not teenage heartbreak, the kind that makes you question everything you thought was real. In early 1994, she met producer Glenn Ballard at his home studio in Encino, California. He didn't try to polish her. He didn't ask her to write something prettier. He just let her explode. They worked with reckless speed. 1 song a day, 12 to 16-hour sessions. Songs written and recorded the same day. No safety nets, no overthinking. What came out didn't sound like anything on the radio, where female artists were expected to be controlled and sweet. Alanis sounded angry, vulnerable, sarcastic, dangerously alive. Then, "You Oughta Know" hit the airwaves. Rock stations didn't know what to do with it. Here was a young woman demanding answers about betrayal, with a ferocity rarely heard on air. She wasn't crying softly. She was confronting her pain head-on. MTV couldn't stop playing it. Rumors exploded. Who was she singing about? Alanis never confirmed anything. She understood that ambiguity made it universal. Everyone heard their own heartbreak in those lyrics. The album was called Jagged Little Pill, named after a lyric about swallowing pain instead of running from it. This wasn't just rage. It was survival, growth, the messy reality of being human. It hit #1 on the Billboard 200 and stayed there for 12 weeks, dominated charts for over a year. Record stores couldn't keep it in stock. In February 1996, Alanis stood on the Grammy stage holding 4 awards, including Album of the Year. At 21, the youngest artist to ever win it. But her victory wasn't just personal. Jagged Little Pill told young women they didn't have to choose between anger and likability, messy or meaningful, soft or strong. They could be all of it. 33 million copies sold worldwide. The best-selling international debut by a female artist. 30 years later, it doesn't feel dated. It feels honest. Because that 19-year-old refused to make her anger palatable, refused to soften her pain, refused to pretend she was okay when she wasn't. She turned all that rawness into something permanent. And every artist who has since written openly about heartbreak and survival is still walking through the door she kicked open, without asking permission, without apologizing, just like she did.